So you may be wondering how you use this active ingredient. Well, the normal solution would be you spray it on and you leave it for about 10 minutes and then you wipe it off. But there's two special precautions you need to take care about. One is first get dressed in a nuclear warfare suit. Those nice radiation ones. Second is prepare to explain to your girlfriend or wife why you have baby poo on your hands in the middle of the living room. There you go. Very nice and clean. Chocolate, por favor. You literally thought I was kidding. No, I wasn't. One thing I might have intentionally missed by accident is that you need to repeat this process for about 12 to 13 times. Other than that, you're ready to go.
Surprise, surprise! Apart from the lateral shim that we have, the one made out of a pick or something, we also apparently have, another one improvised right here for the sole purpose of stopping the neck from gliding fully inside the neck pocket. And I'm guessing it's because of the wobbly, bridge posts, the two pivots that are, very off-center. So we won't do anything to it. We'll just leave it here. Makes no sense removing it. And yeah, what we see right here is, the masking tape applied, and without any additional subliminal message on the fretboard, we have the high spots marked, because I'm also using the masking tape as a plain old paper that it is. And yeah, this will give me a nice idea for the first round of filing down the frets. Now, if you're one of those guys who runs like a Sharpie on all the frets and then digs in right ahead with the sanding block, you're an idiot, and I won't even go ahead and explain to you why. I'll just leave it to the natural course of time for you to figure out why. Now, since I established myself as an all-knowing douchebag, we have a problem. A problem which also impedes the correct filing down of the frets. The problem is the truss rod right here is stuck. And when I say is stuck, like it is cemented. I tried all sorts of different ways. I tried, lubricating it. I tried WD-40. I tried everything. It is just stuck. Probably the nut, and when I say the nut, I mean the one which is usually down here, in which the other end of the truss rod is anchoring itself in. Probably it rusted, or it just, something happened. Nobody adjusted the neck for decades, and it is just way too stuck. I can try forcing it like for real, like arm wrestling forcing, but I might just damage the whole thing. It's probably I'll break whatever's holding it, and I'll break the neck in the whole process. So unfortunately, there's no way to unjam this, truss rod. The only thing would be to actually replace it, but again, that's way too much for the time that we have right now. And in my case, also for the tools that I have in this apartment. So yeah, unfortunately, we'll leave it like this. And as for the filing of the frets, we will just do the bare, minimum, like I said before, for the other considerations. But also because of this one, it's not a perfectly flat fretboard at this point, so I will refrain from, correcting any profile issues. Like if I see an overall tendency of the frets to kind of bulge in one direction, I will not touch it, because it's due to the back bow, the slight back bow that it has at this point. But I will touch some localized fret issues that I've seen even even in this state, where, for example, some of the edges are just popping up, and before, when the masking tape was not applied, you could have actually seen it, because the frets are actually kind of popping out and they're slightly curved, and I tried, smacking them right in, they won't go. So yeah, we will just do the minor corrections for better playability, and we'll leave it at that because we cannot fully correct the frets with the truss rod being stuck in this angle. Good news. It's something wrong with my speech tonight. Or these days, because I'm filming across multiple days. Good news is that, as far as I remember, when it still had strings on, the neck was not very much, both one way or the other. It was flat-ish, with some relief, which is acceptable, in my opinion. So although the truss rod is not working, is not too bad. Now, obviously, it won't be perfect, but we do what we can.
Speaking of the Floyd Rose pivots, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Well, no sponsor, but
Awful pajamas, dude. Like, whoa. Gingerbread man, cool. Radical and metal, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, anyway. Fucking fucktard. Another set of bad news thingies along the way. So, what I was hoping for was that the actual wood around the studs was getting loose with time due to losing of moisture in the wood and whatnot. But unfortunately, it is dead on. It is spot on. It's perfect. The problem comes from the actual metal parts themselves. As you can see, the actual thread, which is like the external thread in which this pivot goes, is rock solid. It does not move left, right, back and forth, up or down. It is perfect. What does move, however, is the actual pivot. Like, it is way too wobbly, and unfortunately we cannot fix this with anything like fixing the thread around the screw. Nothing of the sort. The only fix would be finding a new set, plugging this thing out together with the whole block inside, and like the long nut that's holding it, and just replacing the whole thing with some new ones. But from what I've seen, there's no such thing in stores here where we are, and ordering it online would take too much in order for the whole thing to make it here on time for his birthday. So I'll have to think if I can find something which will probably not be golden, but would be better, or if we will keep it like this. The other problem is that even without the wobble, the factory did a very good job of mounting it at an angle. So I'm not sure how visible this is on the cam, because I cannot put it in any position where you would see it very well. But no matter where I put this, it is not parallel with the plane of the body. It is way off. No matter if I put it at one end or the other, the whole thing was drilled inside the body of the guitar at an angle, and it's valid for both posts, for both pivots, for both studs, call it whatever you want to. So yeah, those are again some bad news for the bridge. Probably will leave it like this, I don't know, because it's actually not that detrimental to the actual functionality, especially if you're not, abusing the Floyd and you're playing it regularly. It shouldn't be that much of a problem. The intonation will be a problem, but hopefully we have enough give on the bridge itself with the saddles to compensate for this. And that's why I said that this thing right here, this improvisation, probably is made exactly for this purpose, because the Floyd posts are moved like slightly forward from where they should be. Therefore, now someone tried to compensate by also moving back the neck in order to, account for the length difference. Anywho, we will see.
You weak, pathetic fool. You thought you had my demise. Well, you did it. Apparently, all it needed was a couple more sprayings of the wonderful, miraculous WD-40. Now, the problem is, or was, but no, actually still is, that, well, first of all, the nut itself, the hex, is kind of, eaten all away. Probably a lot of people try to, tinker with this back in the day, trying to unjam it, but they couldn't. The problem, again, just like with the Floyd posts, is angles. Problem is all in the angles with this guitar. When they drill the whole shaft for the truss rod running right across here and stopping somewhere around here in the anchor, the whole thing is not perfectly parallel to the whole neck. It doesn't run right through the center, or it does, but it's slightly skewed at a very small angle, enough so that this space that you see right here between the nut itself, the nut of the truss rod, and the backbone, so to speak, the backbone of the neck, which lies right behind it, like the wall behind. This small distance that it has right now with the truss rod fully loosened up disappears as soon as you start tightening it. Why? Because as you apply pressure and the truss rod actually starts doing work against the fretboard and the whole neck itself, its stability point actually forces it to push against the neck, which is like the wall behind it that I told you about. So just for comparison, look at how it is right now with the truss rod loosened, and let me show you how it is when it is fully tightened. There you go. And when I said fully tightened, I did not mean testing its limits. I meant tight enough so that it is straight, nothing more. And I can tell you, like, it already tested my hand just to get it straight. It really needed some pressure. So yeah, we managed to unjam it. However, it should still be treated with care, because it is not in a very good place at this point. So my opinion is that we should, leave it like straight in an idle position with no strings off, because anything more feels like it's gonna break and snap in half. So we will leave it pretty much here, and I will advise Danny to use lighter strings. Nothing more than 9s, unfortunately, or I mean, 9s in standard E. If you go low tunings, that's a different issue. Nothing more than 9s, probably even 8, 8.5. It's a compromise, but for preserving your nice vintage guitar that you care about, and obviously it has sentimental value to you. You know, the gauge of the strings doesn't matter that much as long as it's playable and in nice conditions and it doesn't break in half. So you know what I'm saying? It's better off this way. Feel free to do otherwise, but I will not be held responsible. I gave my 2 cents on this matter. So yeah, let's proceed with filing down the frets, shall we?